Now, the next chapter which we are going to revise is the chapter of demand and recovery. Sir, can you give us a quick linking? Yes, Baba, let's take a quick linking and then go ahead. Everyone, we started learning with assessments. In assessments, I went ahead and told you that the proper officer will go ahead and scrutinize the return. Scrutiny of return was there. Yes, sir. The officer went ahead and scrutinized the return and he found that, sir, there was some discrepancy. He will go ahead and inform you the discrepancy and tell you, please go ahead and make the payment. If you make the tax ka payment with interest, etc., then Baba, chapter closed. Otherwise, you can go ahead and give an explanation. You give an explanation, he liked the explanation, chapter closed. But if it doesn't like the explanation, then the PO will get angry. And what will he do, sir? He will go ahead and do audit, special audit. Yes, sir. PO can go ahead and do inspection, search and seizure, and also arrest you. Now, everyone, listen to me carefully. Audit, special audit, inspection, search, seizure. He has gone ahead and done all these things, and he has gathered additional evidences against you, and he will tell you, please go ahead and make the tax ka payment. If you make the tax ka payment, very good. If you don't go ahead and make the tax ka payment, now using these evidences, proper officer will go ahead and issue a show cause notice and then a demand order. So we are going to learn about demand now. Okay, so he'll give you a demand order. Once a demand order comes, you have three options. Either you can go ahead and pay, so you can go ahead and pay within 3 months, or within 3 months you can go for an appeal, or if you don't go for an appeal, then they have gone ahead and told, Ramesh, post 3 months, once 3 months gets over, we will go ahead and start recovery. So we are going to learn the chapter of demand and recovery now. Everyone over here. Demand and recovery. Sir, what are the various sections we are going to learn in the chapter? Everyone over here. Demand and recovery. The first section which will come is section number 73. 73 talks about demand order in case of bona fide case. Section number 74, again demand order in case of fraud cases. Section number 75 talks about general provisions relating to determination of demand. Section number 76 says if you have collected something as tax, please go ahead and pay immediately to the government. We will have section number 77, wrong tax paid can be taken back and correct tax can be paid. You don't have to pay any interest. Section number 78 will come, which will say if you don't pay within 3 months, recovery proceedings will be initiated. 79 talks about modes of recovery. 80 talks about installment facility. Section number 81 comes. Section number 81 goes ahead and says transfer of property shall be void. Then you have section number 82. Section number 82 goes ahead and talks about, sir, subject to IBC, always the GST dues will stand first whenever they have to recover the amount. Okay, means if a company goes into liquidation, who will stand first? GST dues. Then we have section number 83, which talks about provisional attachment, and section number 84, continuation of recovery proceedings. Let's go ahead and start with section number 73 and 74. So, if it appears to the proper officer that tax is not paid, short paid, erroneously refunded, or ITC was wrongly availed and utilized by you, then there can be two types of scenario. One can be a section number 73 ka scenario, one can be a section number 74 ka scenario. Sir, what is section number 74 ka scenario? Section number 74 may you will fall. Basically, section number 74 talks about determination of tax payable whenever it is a reason of, by reason of fraud, willful misstatement, suppression of fact. So if you have gone ahead and done any fraud, willful misstatement and suppression of fact, then the demand order comes under section number 74. But in any other case, basically in case of bona fide case, the demand order comes under section number 73. Okay, sir. Now, always whenever demand comes, before demand, you are given various chances to go ahead and make the payment. For an example, before even the show cause notice comes, you can go ahead and make the payment. So, the proper officer, once he goes ahead and finds out tax is not paid, short paid, erroneously refunded, ITC wrongly availed or utilized, then what you can do is, even before issuance of show cause notice, you can go ahead and pay the tax, or the proper officer will go ahead and give you a pre-show cause notice kind of a thing, where he will go ahead and tell you in GST DRC 01A ka part A what is the tax, interest, etc. payable by you. Sir, if you go ahead and pay the tax and the interest yourself, or on issuance of DRC 01A part A may, where proper officer has gone ahead and told you how much to pay, if you go ahead and pay the tax and interest, now, full payment you did, then show cause notice will not come. Chapter is closed. You just have to go ahead and inform the PO. So basically, you will make the payment and inform the PO by using GST DRC03, and the proper officer will issue an acknowledgement saying, okay, we have gone ahead and received the payment. Acknowledgement will be issued to you. Okay, sir. Sir, if I go ahead and make the full payment of the tax and interest, chapter gets closed. But if I don't go ahead and make the full payment, I make part payment, or I want to go ahead and make part payment and give submission, or I don't want to make any part payment and give submission, you can give submission in part B of GST DRC01A, and now the chain will start wherein one show cause notice will come. Now, show cause notice will come. A detailed show cause notice will be sent to you on mail. Summary of the show cause notice shall be uploaded in GST DRC01. Always remember, the show cause notice comes 3 months prior in case of bona fide case and 6 months prior in case of fraud cases. We'll talk about fraud cases later. First, we are talking about bona fide case. Bona fide case, if you go ahead and make the payment before show cause notice, tax and interest, chapter gets closed. If you don't make the payment, then show cause notice will come. In the show cause notice, they will go ahead and tell you what is the tax amount, interest, and they will go ahead and state the ground why they are issuing you, why they are going ahead and basically issuing the show cause notice. And against the show cause notice, they will go ahead and issue the demand order. So what will be the grounds for the demand order? Basically, they will go ahead and tell you, asking why specified amount should not be demanded from you. And now, once the show cause notice comes, again you are given 30 days ka time. If within 30 days of the issuance of show cause notice, you pay the tax and interest and inform the proper officer using GST DRC03, then no penalty shall be payable by you. Demand order will not come. All the proceeding will be concluded. He will go ahead and issue, the proper officer will issue a GST DRC05 and proceedings get concluded. But always remember, section number 132 ka proceedings which are there, Baba, imprisonment related proceedings, all those section number 132 ka proceedings will conclude. They are going ahead and telling proceedings with respect to this show cause notice gets concluded. Okay, sir, point is clear. Sir, I don't go ahead and make the payment within 30 days. Post 30 days, do I have the option to go ahead and make the payment of show cause notice? No, sir, you don't have the option to make the payment post expiry of the 30 days. Now, you have to give explanation, you have to give representation in DRC06, and then the demand order shall be passed. Always remember, detailed demand order will come in your mail or it will be posted to you. Summary of the demand order shall be uploaded by the proper officer in GST DRC07. Okay, sir. Now, once the demand order has come in bona fide case, always remember, post issuance of demand order, when you go ahead and make the payment of the tax, you have to pay the tax, interest, and penalty has to be paid, which is 10% of the tax amount or 10,000, whichever is higher, and then you have to make the payment. Basically, when you make the payment using GST DRC03, and the intimation goes to the officer that you have made the payment. He will go ahead and issue DRC05 saying, I will conclude all the proceedings against that demand order. Okay, sir. Always remember, demand order ka issuance ka time limit in case of bona fide case is 3 years from the due date of annual return for the relevant financial year. And sir, what is the time limit for show cause notice? Show cause notice and demand order, the minimum gap should be 3 months, and hence the show cause notice issuance ka time limit is 2 years 9 months from the due date of annual return for the relevant financial year. Okay, sir, what if this case was a fraud ka case? Always remember, in case of fraud, if you go ahead and make the tax ka payment before the show cause notice, you just have to pay the tax, interest, and penalty will be only 15%. Remaining things same. Sir, if after issuance of show cause notice, I go ahead and make the payment, again, you have to make the payment of the tax, interest, and penalty shall be 25%. 15% gets increased to 25%. You can inform the proper officer and proceeding shall be concluded. Or if you don't make the payment within 30 days, give representation using GST DRC06, and now demand order will come. In case of fraud, always remember, in case of fraud, once the demand order is given to him, he will have an option to go ahead and pay the tax, interest, and penalty shall be only 50% of the tax. But after 30 days, if he goes ahead and make the payment, pay the tax, interest, and penalty shall be 100%. Once you make the payment, please go ahead and inform the officer, and officer will go ahead and issue GST DRC05, concluding the proceeding. Always remember the demand order ka time limit in case of fraud, because the fraud might take some time to detect. The fraud ka detection ke liye time might be taken. So they have gone ahead and told demand order in case of fraud is to be issued within 5 years from the due date of annual return for the relevant financial year, and demand order to show cause notice, the minimum gap should be 6 months, and hence 4 years 6 months from the due date of annual return, you should have gone ahead. That is the maximum time limit. You should have gone ahead and issued the show cause notice. Always remember, show cause notice and demand order, if they are not issued within time, all the proceedings shall be deemed to be concluded for that year, and you will not be able to issue show cause notice or demand order for that year. Okay, sir, point is clear. Always remember, demand order and show cause notice in case of erroneous refund has to be seen. So if erroneous refund has been given to you by mistake, one refund has been given to you, from the date of erroneous refund, you'll have to see this 3 years or 5 years or 2 years 9 months and 4 years 6 months for the issuance of show cause notice, or from the date of erroneous refund, you will have to go ahead and check this limit. Okay, sir. Sir, once the demand order is given, assessee can go ahead and file an appeal within 3 months, or within 3 months he can go ahead and make the payment. If he doesn't go ahead and make the payment, department after 3 months from the demand order will start the recovery proceedings. Okay, sir, done. Point is clear. Always remember, in the exam they will go ahead and ask you practical questions relating to issuance of show cause notice and demand order. Always remember, demand order in show cause notice in case of bona fide case, 2 years 9 months is the maximum time limit. 3 years for demand order is the maximum time limit. Fraud cases may 4 years 6 months and 5 years is the maximum time limit for demand order. Okay, sir, point is clear. And always see the gap between the demand order and the show cause notice. In case of bona fide case should always be 3 months, and in case of fraud cases should always be minimum 6 months. Okay, sir. Penalty computation they will go ahead and ask you. Always remember, if it is bona fide case, means if you are following this side, then penalty always comes only once the demand order is issued, and that is maximum 10% of the tax or 10,000, whichever is higher. And sir, if it is fraud case, before show cause notice 15%, after show cause notice 25%, after demand order 50% if within 30 days, and after 30 days it is, sir, 100% penalty. Okay, always remember one thing. If one show cause notice is issued now and later on the same ground, if the proper officer wants to go ahead and issue more show cause notices for another period, so that he can go ahead and pass a demand order for those other periods also. So you have gone ahead and not paid some tax for one period. PO realized later that for additional period also he wants to give you a show cause notice, then he will not go ahead and give you a show cause notice. He will serve a statement in GST DRC 02, and for the additional period not covered under the show cause notice, service of statement shall be deemed as service of show cause notice. However, always remember, the original GST DRC 01 ground has to be same. Only then you can go ahead and issue a statement for the additional period. Otherwise, for the additional period, you will have to go ahead. And issue show cause notice only. Okay, sir. One small point I wanted to tell over here. What do you mean by suppression of fact? They have gone ahead and defined suppression of fact, and they have told suppression of fact means non-declaration of fact or information required to declare or furnish, or required, or in non-declaration of fact or information required to declare, or failure to furnish information asked by the proper officer. So if in the return you are required to disclose something and you have not gone ahead and declared, or might be the proper officer had gone ahead and asked you some information and you have not given it to him, that is also suppression, and the proper officer can go ahead and issue a show cause notice and a demand order under section number 74. Be very careful. There is a circular over here under section number 7311, section number 7311, subsection 11. It is told that self-assessed tax or tax amount collected as tax, if you have not gone ahead and paid greater than 30 days of the due date, then penalty 10% of the tax or the 10,000, whichever is higher, can be levied. Now there is a circular where people went ahead and told, sir, if I go ahead and file my return only late and pay the tax amount late, still will this penalty come? So government went ahead and clarified, because people told, sir, self-assessed tax or amount collected as tax means if I have gone ahead and filed my return late, filing of return late means late payment of tax, will this penalty come? So government went ahead and clarified. Issue was whether penalty under section number 73 subsection 11 can be levied where GSTR 3B has been filed after the due date. So the due date was supposedly 28th of January and filed my GSTR 3B on 28th February. Will this penalty come? So government went ahead and clarified that provisions of section number 7311 can be invoked only when provisions of section number 73 are invoked, and provisions of section number 73, provisions of section number 73 are generally not invoked in case of delay in filing of GSTR 3B because tax along with applicable interest has been paid by you, but it is only that you have gone ahead and made the payment after the due date. It is accordingly clarified that penalty under section number 7311 is not payable in such cases. So if you have gone ahead and filed your return late and paid your tax late, then for late return pay late fee, and for paying the tax late pay interest. Chapter closed. But in that scenario also, the proper officer can go ahead and levy a general penalty under section number 125, which is up to 25,000. Then sir, when will section number 73 subsection 11 ka penalty be levied? Always remember, section number 73 subsection 11 ka penalty can be levied. For an example, you went ahead and on due date filed your return, self-assessed your tax, filed your return but did not make the tax payment. Practically it is not possible. But you paid your tax, you did not pay your tax, you self-assessed your tax, you filed the return, but you did not pay your tax. Now, because you have self-assessed your tax, filed your return, now, if you don't make the payment of the tax within the next 30 days, if you don't make the payment of the tax within the next 30 days, then if the proper officer issues a show cause notice, then he can go ahead and levy, a penalty of 10% or 10,000, whichever is higher. Here we are done with section number 73 and 74. Now, section number 75, again a very important section which I feel they can go ahead and ask you guys. Section number 75 over here. What does section number 75 say? Section number 75 talks about general provision relating to determination of demand. Whenever the proper officer is going ahead and raising a show cause notice and a demand order, some of the general provisions which are required to be followed by him. Number 1, sir, period of stay shall be excluded while calculating the time limit of show cause notice and demand order. The demand order and show cause notice ka time limit which is there. Always remember, if there is a court ka stay which has been put, the period of stay shall always be excluded while calculating this 3 years or 5 years, 2 years, 9 months or 4 years, 6 months. Okay, sir. Number 2, if show cause notice was issued by the proper officer under section number 74(1) and you went to the appeal and appellate authority went ahead and told, sir, this show cause notice is not sustainable, or the demand order, basically the demand order was passed and you went to the appellate authorities or appellate tribunal went ahead and told this demand order is not sustainable, then now whether the proper officer has to go ahead and issue a fresh notice under section number 73(1). No, the section number 74(1) ka show cause notice will be deemed as a show cause notice under section number 73 subsection 1. If show cause notice under section number 74(1) is not sustainable, proper officer shall determine the tax deeming the show cause notice was issued under section number 73 subsection 1. Sir, if the demand order after the appellate tribunal has gone ahead and issued direction to the proper officer and he is going ahead and issuing a demand order, within how much time he should go ahead and issue? Demand order issued as per the direction of appellate authority, appellate tribunal or court to be issued within 2 years from such directions. Okay, sir. Always remember, whenever they are going ahead and issuing, whenever they are going ahead and passing a demand order, wherein adverse decision is being contemplated against you, then they have to give you an opportunity of being heard. Opportunity of being heard always to be given on request. If you request, they have to give you, or when adverse decision is contemplated against such person. Okay, sir. Maximum adjournment, how many times, sir, it will be given? Maximum 3 times adjournment can be given if sufficient cause is shown. Section number 75 subsection 6 goes ahead and talks about speaking order. Whenever the proper officer goes ahead and issues you an order, the order should be a speaking order. Basically, it should set out all the facts and circumstances, basically on the basis of which the decision was taken. Okay, sir. So always remember that tax, interest and penalty which they go ahead and give you, which they tell you to pay in the demand order, should not exceed the tax, interest and penalty which is told in the show cause notice. It can be lower, but it can't exceed the show cause notice. Always remember that. Sir, tax, interest and penalty cannot exceed the show cause notice and demand order in conformity with the grounds in the show cause notice. Always remember one thing, the demand order should always be in conformity with the grounds which are told in the show cause notice. If the show cause notice was issued on one ground and demand order on another ground, then Baba, demand order shall not be valid. Next, sir, where appellate authority, appellate tribunal, court modifies the tax, interest penalty shall also stand modified. Means if the tax has been modified, appellate authority or appellate tribunal went ahead and told the tax will be less, then interest and penalty also will be equally coming down. And sir, if the appellate authority, appellate tribunal went ahead and increased the amount, then tax amount increased, interest or penalty also will be accordingly modified. Modified means it can go up also, it can come down also. Sir, always remember, if by chance the proper officer went ahead and issued a demand order, in the demand order he forgot to to tell what is the amount of interest you have to pay, but still you have to go ahead and pay the interest. You can't say in the demand order he forgot to write I will not pay. No, interest is payable even if it is not specified in the demand order. And sir, but penalty is not payable. Penalty is not payable. Penalty has to be specifically told in the demand order, only then it is payable. Sir, if the demand order is not passed within 3 years, or in case of fraud case 5 years, then proceedings for that year shall be deemed to be concluded. Now, proper officer is not going ahead and passing an order because he is waiting for the appellate tribunal, high court or supreme court order. Then whatever is the wait time spent in another case by the proper officer, that wait time shall be always excluded, because he is waiting for a decision in one case. Only once the decision comes, he will go ahead and apply the same decision and pass an order in another case. Then they are going ahead and telling wait time spent shall not be considered in 3 years or 5 years. Wait time and also period of stay, both are not considered. I have gone ahead and told in my return, this is my self-assessed tax, and I have not gone ahead and made the payment. Always remember, self-assessed tax ke liye there is no tension at all. Direct recovery can start. Direct recovery in case of self-assessed tax liability in accordance with return under section number 39. In your return, you told this much is the tax amount, but you did not go ahead and make the payment and you filed your return. Direct recovery can start for you. Okay, sir. No penalty for same act or omission under this act under any other section if already penalized under section number 73 or 74. If you are already penalized under section number 73 or 74, same act ke liye under another section, for an example section number 122, you will not be penalized again under section number 122. Okay sir, point is clear. What is the monetary limit for going ahead and issuing show cause notice and demand order then? Sir, which officer has how much power to go ahead and issue a show cause notice and demand order? Always remember, superintendent. If your show cause notice and demand order, you see only the CGST amount is less than equal to 10 lakh, then superintendent will go ahead and issue the show cause notice and then the demand order. If your show cause notice or demand order, basically what you have defaulted is only IGST amount, then Baba you have to see less than equal to 20 lakh, then superintendent will go ahead and issue the order, show cause notice and the demand order. Now you have gone ahead and defaulted CGST, SGST and IGST. Just see the CGST and IGST amount. If it is less than equal to 20 lakh, then superintendent will go ahead and issue the show cause notice and then the demand order. Sir, if the amount is greater than 10 lakh, less than equal to 1 crore CGST, then Baba always deputy commissioner or assistant commissioner. If it is greater than 20 lakh, less than equal to 2 crore IGST amount, always deputy commissioner or assistant commissioner. CGST plus IGST put together greater than 20 lakh, less than equal to 2 crore, then also deputy commissioner or assistant commissioner. Amounts greater than this, for an example, CGST amount greater than 1 crore, always additional commissioner or joint commissioner. IGST amount greater than 2 crores, additional commissioner or joint commissioner. Sir, CGST and IGST put together greater than 2 crore, then also Baba additional commissioner or joint commissioner will go ahead and issue the show cause notice and then the demand order. This is not very important, but still you can remember once. Section number 76 goes ahead and talks about tax collected. You have gone ahead and collected an amount saying it is tax, but you did not go ahead and pay it to the government. Always remember, if you go ahead and collect any amount representing as tax, it is tax I am collecting from you, then always immediately pay it to the government. If you no due date, immediately pay it to the government. If you don't pay to the government, show cause notice, there is no time limit. Whenever government comes to know about such a default by you, government will issue the show cause notice, and there is no time limit to issue show cause notice, but show cause notice to demand order, the maximum duration is 1 year. Everyone over here, amount collected representing as tax should be immediately paid to the government. If you don't go ahead and pay, then show cause notice shall be issued to you, going ahead and telling that the amount of tax which you have not paid and penalty equal to the tax amount. Then demand order shall be passed after taking your representation. Interest 18% has to be paid by you from the day you collect till the date of payment. From the day you collect till the date of payment. Opportunity of being heard will be given on request. Show cause notice to demand order, the maximum time limit is 1 year. Sir, period of stay should always be excluded. Speaking order will be passed. If there is any amount of tax which is payable by such person, that amount say, for an example, one recipient, but the person who has paid the tax had to pay some tax to the government, that amount say that tax will be adjusted by the government and surplus shall be refunded to that person, or it will be put in the consumer welfare fund. Always remember, person who has borne the incidents may apply for refund also. So always remember, whatever the tax has been collected by you and paid to the, and you have not paid to the government, will be recovered from you. Any amount of tax will be adjusted against that amount. Balance amount will be put in the consumer welfare fund. If there is a buyer who has gone ahead and paid the tax by mistake, that person can go ahead and apply for refund also. Okay, sir. Section number 76 done. Section number 77 goes ahead and talks about, sir, I have gone ahead and paid CGST and SGST by mistake. Please take the CGST and SGST refund and pay the correct IGST. Always remember, interstate treated as intra and you paid CGST, SGST by mistake, that can't be adjusted against IGST. Take the CGST, SGST refund, pay the correct IGST. Only benefit is you don't have to pay any interest. Okay, sir. Sir, I went ahead and paid IGST by mistake. Then, Baba, take IGST refund, pay correct CGST and SGST, and there will be no interest. That is being told by section number 77, read with section number 19 of the IGST Act. Okay, sir. Point is clear. I went ahead and taught you till now section number 73. Section number 73 went ahead and told about show cause notice and demand order in bona fide case. Section number 74, show cause notice and demand order in fraud case. Section number 75, general provision relating to determination of demand. Section number 76, if you have gone ahead and collected anything representing as tax, pay it immediately to government. Otherwise, show cause notice will be issued and demand order shall be issued within 1 year of the show cause notice. Section number 77, wrong amount paid, take a refund, pay the correct amount, you don't have to pay any interest. Now section number 78 goes ahead and says, once initiation of recovery proceeding, amount payable in the demand order shall be paid within 3 months. If you have not gone ahead and paid within 3 months, post 3 months, otherwise recovery proceeding shall be initiated, means after 3 months recovery proceeding shall be initiated. If the proper officer goes ahead and considers it expedient, then he can go ahead. He may require the taxable person to make the payment within less than 3 months also, and the period will be specified by the proper officer. Sir, what are the various modes of recovery? The various modes of recovery are MRTDS. What do you mean by MRTDS? Everyone over here. Recovery through magistrate. The proper officer will go ahead and issue one certificate, give one certificate to the magistrate. Basically, he will tell the magistrate how much is the amount recovered from you. Now, magistrate will go ahead and issue you. Magistrate will go ahead and recover the amount from you as if they are fines imposed by him. And if you don't go ahead and make the payment of that amount, he will send you to jail. Okay, sir. M for movable or immovable property. Basically, proper officer will go ahead and sell your movable or immovable properties and recover the amount. Refund can be adjusted. Realization of bond can be done. Third party ke through recovery can be done. District collector ke through recovery can be done. Detention and selling of goods through auction can be done, and the amount can be recovered. Modes of recovery are for refund or any other amount payable to such person. So if I have any other amount or refund which is to be coming from the department, then either the GST department say if I have refund, they will go ahead and adjust, or they can go ahead and ask specified officer to go ahead and deduct. Who is this specified officer? Specified officer means any officer of central government, state government, union territory, local authority, or a board or a corporation or a company owned or controlled wholly or partly by the central government, state government, local authority, or union territory government. So, sir, if he is an officer of the government, he is a specified officer. So, income tax, say if I have a refund to come, they will tell the income tax officer, please adjust the refund. Next, detention and selling of goods. Either himself he will go ahead and detain and sell the goods, or he will go ahead and tell specified officer to go ahead and detain the goods and sell them. Sir, recovery can happen from third party. So if anyone has to go ahead and pay me, the proper officer will tell him, hey, you don't pay Ramesh, you pay it to us. So from third party from whom amount is due or may become due, from there also they can go ahead and do the recovery. Okay, sir. Sale of movable and immovable property. They can sell my movable property, immovable property, and recover their amount. Recovery through district collector also can happen. The proper officer will go ahead and give a certificate to the district collector. District collector, because he has immense power, he will go ahead and recover the amount from you as if they are land revenue ka arrears. Recovery can happen through an application to the magistrate. Magistrate will recover them as fine. Don't pay the court fine, you go to jail. Okay, sir. Recovery through realization of bond also can happen. You have given a bond with bank guarantee, they will realize it and recover their amount. SGST officer, supposingly, amount is to be recovered from one person. Both the CGST and SGST officer will not come and recover. What will happen? SGST officers will go ahead and recover the amount and they will pass on the CGST amount to the central government, sir. That's it. Or if one officer ka jurisdictional officer is a CGST officer, they will go ahead and recover, and SGST amount they will transfer it to the state government. SGST officer can collect the dues and later credit it to the central government. Sir, if partial recovery has happened, then always remember it's a pro rata distribution between central government or state government. Okay, sir. Basically, central government and state government will distribute among themselves. Can recovery happen through from distinct person also? Yes. If a recovery has been initiated, recovery can be done from your distinct person also. Section number 80 goes in and talks about payment of tax and other amount in installment. Taxable person can go ahead and file an application before the start of recovery. Do one thing, go online, file an application in GST DRC 20, and commissioner can go ahead and give you extended time. Either the commissioner will go ahead and give you extended time, means deferred payment facility, so he'll give you 2 more months, 6 more months ka time, or he will allow you to go ahead and make the payment in installment, which is maximum 24 installment. Note, self-assessed tax ke liye installment is not available. Installment, if you want, it is always subject to interest under section number 50. If you have gone ahead and defaulted any amount, self-assessed tax, no installment. Installment facility always subject to interest. Sir, if defaulted in payment of any installment, withdrawal of installment facility and all the amount becomes payable immediately. Always very, very important. Remember one thing, less than 25,000, less than 25,000, less than 25,000 ke liye installment is not available. Okay, sir, point is clear. Section number 81 goes ahead and talks about transfer of property is void in certain cases. Sir, if person say amount has become recoverable or amount has become basically due, and what he does is now he knows within 3 months recovery will start. So demand order came, I will start creating a charge on my property, or I'll go ahead and transfer my property with an intention to go ahead and defraud the government revenue, then such transfer shall be void. But such transfer shall not be void. Exception if bona fide intention and for adequate consideration in good faith without notice of pendency of such proceedings. I have gone ahead and bought one property from one person in good faith, paying him adequate consideration, and sir, I did not know about such proceedings being pending against such person, or without notice of such tax or other sum payable by the said person, or with the permission of proper officer, if I go ahead and buy, then in that scenario, the transfer of property shall not be void. Section number 82 goes ahead and says tax to be first charged on the property, means GST dues. Government shall have first charge on the property of a person. Section number 82 goes ahead and says whenever tax to be first charged on property, tax should be first charged on the property, taxable person or representative amount payable as GST dues, then government shall have first charge on the property. The GST department will go ahead and collect first their dues, but this is subject to IBC. So if on a company insolvency and bankruptcy code is applicable, then section number 82 will not be applicable. If IBC, insolvency and bankruptcy code, is not applicable, then section number 82 says GST dues will stand first in the queue and they will recover their amount. Section number 83 goes ahead and talks about provisional attachment to protect the revenue. If provisional attachment to protect the revenue during the pendency of proceeding under section number 62, best judgment of non-filer, 63, best judgment of unregistered person, 64, summary assessment, 67, inspection, search and seizure, 73, demand order in bona fide case, section number 74, demand order in fraud case. If during this proceeding, commissioner, for protecting the interest of the revenue, he feels that this person might go ahead and run away, then he will go ahead, commissioner will go ahead and attach provisionally property including bank account of the taxable person. He will basically go ahead and issue a GST DRC 22. Now, always remember one thing, maximum time limit for which attachment is done is 1 year. Note, person can file an objection against an attachment. A person can go ahead and file an objection against the attachment within how much time, everyone? Within 7 days, and commissioner to go ahead and provide opportunity of being heard, and then he will go ahead and release the property of the bank account and he will give a GST DRC 23. The next section over here is section number 84, continuation of continuation and validation of recovery proceeding. On me, the demand order was served, and everyone over here, demand order was served, taxable person went for an appeal, application is filed. Now after 3 months recovery started. Everyone, after 3 months recovery started, I went to the appellate authority, told sir please condone the delay and accept my appeal. Appellate authority went ahead and accepted the appeal. Then officer will go ahead and stay the recovery proceeding. Now appellate authority will basically go ahead and hear the appeal disposed of, resulting in cancellation of the demand order. Then baba, no recovery will happen from you. They confirmed the demand order, then recovery will continue. They went ahead and reduced the dues. Then fresh demand notice is not required. Recovery proceedings will continue for the old amount which was there. For the old amount nahi baba, for the reduced amount recovery will continue. Now earlier the demand order was 10 lakh. The appellate authority went ahead and told recover from Ramesh 12 lakh. Then 2 lakh additional ke liye the proper officer has to give a fresh notice of demand for this remaining 2 lakh. Earlier 10 lakh ke liye already demand order is given. Now for the remaining 2 lakh, fresh notice of demand has to be given, and then now recovery will start for 10 lakh also, and 2 lakh, 12 lakh. Enhancement of dues if it happens. Always remember, commissioner will serve another notice of demand for the enhanced amount, and recovery proceeding shall continue with respect to old also. Old demand notice basically 10 lakh rupees, and new notice of demand which is basically 2 lakh, for total 12 lakh rupees. Now recovery proceeding shall continue. Always remember, demand and recovery. We learned section number 73 and section number 74. Section number 73, bona fide case. Section number 74, fraud cases. Section number 73, before show cause notice, tax and interest. After show cause notice, within 30 days, tax and interest. Sir, after demand order, tax, interest, penalty will be 10% or 10,000, whichever is higher. Here, before show cause notice, tax, interest, penalty 15%. Here, show cause notice within 30 days, tax, interest, penalty 25%. And sir, tax, interest, penalty within 30 days, again 50% of the demand order. Once the demand order comes, if you make the payment within 30 days, 50%, and tax, interest, penalty after 30 days of the demand order, 100% penalty has to be paid. Section number 75, I understand in section number 75, at least a person should go ahead and remember, opportunity of being heard has to be given, order has to be a speaking order, tax, interest, penalty cannot go ahead and increase the show cause notice ka amount, and interest is payable even if not told in the demand order. This is some point which I find is very important. Section number 76 and 77 and 75, you must have a 3 marks question. You can't leave these 3 sections and go. Section number 78 to 84, which is continuation of recovery proceedings, maximum can be a 3 marks question which can be expected, but it is not a very important section. Okay, everyone. Now, 75 general discipline, 76 over here was amount collected representing as tax immediately paid to the government, otherwise show cause notice, no time limit, demand order, post issuance of show cause notice within 1 year. Next, 77 went ahead and told, sir, wrong amount paid, take refund, pay the correct amount, no interest. Okay, this is also very important, everyone. 78, greater than 3 months recovery proceeding. 79, modes of recovery. 80, installment facility. Always remember, installment is not your right. If the commissioner wants, he will give, otherwise rejected. 81, and baba, always remember, if installment facility is rejected to you, you can't go for an appeal also, because it is non-appealable order. Okay, sir. 81 went ahead and told about transfer of property shall be void. 82, sir, GST dues will stand first and recover the amount. 83, provisional attachment, and section number 84, continuation of recovery proceedings. Everyone over here, this chapter is a, you can call demand and recovery and appeals and revision both put together in A graded chapter, because 6 to 8 marks they ask out of demand and recovery and appeals and revision. So in my opinion, demand and recovery and appeals and revision should not be left by you. In this chart, the most important point I've gone ahead and told you, time limits and penalties can be asked. In this chart, 76, 77, and at least these 4 points, you should go ahead and see the practical question. And here, modes of recovery, installment facility, provisional attachment ke liye one note, this can be some important point. Here I will go ahead and close my revision on demand and recovery, everyone.